after the one because yes, she cannot see. And how was her husband reacting to this? The husband has refused her because she's blind. And she's alone now.
The disease itself is a really insidious disease because of all the socioeconomic impacts it has. Basically disabling people right when they should be entering the most productive periods of their lives.
How has he been affected by river blindness?
He said, when you are bitten by the fly, you find rashes on your body. Then eventually you find the worm moving in your eye, moving from down upward. He's now using only one eye. It's effective when it's in the class. When it is a write on the blackboard, you cannot see the writing.
What will he do when he finishes school?
That he doesn't know because his eye is becoming blind. He can't predict. He may be blind and he could not continue the study.
Fibrous nodules under the skin, anywhere on the body, are another sign of the disease. The worms that cause river blindness are transmitted to humans by the bites of tiny but aggressive black flies that breed in fast-flowing streams and rivers. That's how the disease got its name. Nothing but these flies can transmit the disease from one human to another. When the fly bites to take a blood meal, it sucks in microfilaria, the pre-larval worms that infest the skin of the host. Inside the fly, the microfilaria develop into larval stages that move to the fly's mouth. When the fly bites for another blood meal, it passes the larva into the blood of the next human host. The fly's role in the life cycle of the parasite is now complete. Inside the human host, the larvae migrate to the tissue below the skin, developing into mature worms during the next 6 to 12 months. Males and females form nodules where they mate and produce their young. The female can grow to more than a foot in length, living for as long as 14 years, giving birth to millions of microscopic microfilariae that migrate to all parts of the body, especially the skin and eyes. These tiny worms can survive for up to 2 years inside the human host, unless they're sucked up by a biting black fly, and the worm cycle starts again, spreading the disease. The adult
Leprosy.
remain in the nodules with limited access to the host's immune system, but the microfilariae cause intense inflammatory responses, especially when they die. Rashes, itching, swelling, loss of weight, and weakness become more severe with repeated infections. If the worms migrate to the eyes, they can cause severe lesions, impaired vision, and eventually total blindness.
This Nyamwamba River is a perfect place for black fly breeding.
You see rapidly flowing water over rocks. You see bubbling, which indicates that the water is very well oxygenated. And you see little bits of reeds and green areas where the black flies also like to lay their eggs. So this is, when you look here, you automatically say, river blindness, because this is a perfect breeding site for a black fly.
Moses Cadabaro and I work for the Carter Center. Moses is an epidemiologist, and both of us are focused on trying to stop river blindness.
Uganda is my country. I was born there. I started off as an agricultural forestologist. I knew that river blindness was a serious problem. And when the opportunity came to join the fight against this disease, I jumped on it in order to help my people.
In Uganda, we're providing resources and technical assistance to the Ministry of Health.
These are all mature eggs.
You can go to the field, see firsthand the problem, and to see how the Carter Center can do better in helping the Ministry of Health reach their goal of eliminating river blindness.
Every year we treat about 10 million people for river blindness.
You know, the Carter Center started this work in West Africa, having a very wide experience in here.
Hello.
President Carter has given river blindness a high priority.
130. 1, 2.
He's very, very interested in providing funding
Pretty good.
and in health education, providing to people so they understand why they're being treated.
The little black flies, are they more ubiquitous at night or not?
They're-
You know.
They're day biters.
She gets three. Good morning. Good morning. I'm a fly catcher. They like this spot.
And you feel it? Yeah. Painful. It bites, then after some time stops, I think sucks the blood. And then when that goes low, then it bites again so it can get more. That's how it's feeling it. Now imagine if you have 1,000 feasting on you. Wow.
People who live near fly breeding areas are most affected by the disease. In places like this, black flies can bite a person hundreds of times a day. Tormented by flies and the disease, villagers abandon their homes and move elsewhere, depopulating fertile farmland.
And people like to think about diseases in terms of their severity as to whether you die or not. And if you have a condition that doesn't cause that, it tends to be neglected. So we really have to get beyond the idea of, oh, it's just a skin disease. I want everyone to think about how they would feel if their body was burning from 1,000 mosquito bites, day and night. A lot of people would be ready to jump out of the window if they were living like that.
He said the disease has affected his life. He has serious itching. He has no energy to do other work. He's always down and pain all over the body.
就是那个这个花奖品就想干
He said normally go to agrotogenous with the mother. They normally stay in the field from morning until 3 in the evening. So he's beaten all the time. He has itching throughout and has affected his life all the time. Even if the children are playing, he's always bashing himself.
Scientists learned almost a century ago that black flies of the genus Simunium are the vectors that carry river blindness. Millions of people were infected, and hundreds of thousands were blinded by it. The disease was endemic across a wide belt of Africa and in a few pockets in Yemen and in Central and South America. Most affected were the savanna lands of West Africa, especially in the Volta River basin.
As there was no medicine available to kill the worms that were in the human body, the only way to control river blindness was to go after the black fly through using chemicals put into rivers where the black flies bred.
There's your chemtrails.
With insecticides was one solution. Flies were eliminated in some areas, but it was almost impossible to kill all the black flies that could travel hundreds of miles over a vast landscape, often carried by the wind.
And if it's carried by the wind, who's carrying them? You have a why, you have a shy.
And there were serious concerns about the environmental hazards of using insecticides like DDT. And then, in the 1970s, there was a breakthrough.
Soil is critical in growing good crops, but to a Merck scientist, it is also the source of fascinating organisms.
In the soil, there are these millions of microorganisms which make things that man cannot think of, which is beyond our chemical knowledge.
Working for the Animal Health Division of the drug maker Merck, researcher William Campbell discovered that the veterinary medicine called ivermectin, extracted from soil samples, was highly effective against animal parasites that were closely related to Onchocerca vulvaris.
We realized that we had a fantastically potent drug for use in animal health, potentially extremely useful in sheep, in cattle, in horses, in dogs.
Researchers at Merck believed ivermectin might also be useful against river blindness, but there were reasons to be cautious. In the past, other drugs have been used against the disease with serious side effects.
And so there was that thing in the back of all of our minds that maybe any drug that killed a dog in the skin would make things worse.
But extensive clinical studies showed that ivermectin safely and quickly killed microfilariae in humans. Skin samples proved it, and side effects were minimal.
Over 1,000 patients came into the program. And the amazing thing was that we gave a tablet that we sampled skin snips in a month, 6 months, 12 months, and those suckers were gone. I mean, once they were killed, they were killed. They didn't come back till at the end, in the 12th month, after the single pill, they started to reappear. And so by the end of our program, we knew we had a drug that was safe and was very effective.
Ivermectin promised a dramatic change in the fight against river blindness. Suddenly, there was a way to eliminate the source of the disease, a way to prevent black flies from infecting themselves when biting. If there are no worms to infect the fly, it cannot transmit worms to anyone else, and transmission is halted. Ivermectin also stops the itching and the progression of eye disease, although much of the damage to the skin and vision cannot be reversed. Ivermectin was a revolutionary drug, but as Merck's executives realized the only market for it was in poor developing nations, they made an unprecedented decision to donate the drug to any country that needed it for as long as needed.
There was no way that we could step away from that decision, as I thought. And here we had a drug that would prevent blindness